currently on the air.
Okay, so if we could put max 1 on the air, please. Okay. I'm a little confused about which computer we're showing.
I think there's an issue with the routing.
Okay. Either way, we have the tornado warning on air right now. That tornado warning, that observed tornado on the ground is moving past Canton. If you are in the Canton area, the tornado warning is just off to your east and northeast. That tornado is going to track into the southern portions of Grand Saline. What is that highway south of Grand Saline? That's 110 that comes on the south side of Grand Saline. So this rotation is going to move right over 110 to I-20, right where it kind of intersects, maybe just south of where 110 intersects, 80, excuse me, where 110 intersects Highway 80. That tornado is going to be crossing over 110 as it moves toward the Grand Saline area, and if it holds together, it'll be heading toward Alba and Quitman. So you guys in Alba and Quitman, please know where your safe room is. This storm could be moving toward you momentarily. There is a tornado on the ground. The police department in Canton have confirmed that that tornado is on the ground, and it looks like the rotation. Can we look at the coefficient, the
Yes.
correlation coefficient for that, and then we'll also want to retrack the storm.
Okay, max 1 is
Okay. Here's all of East Texas. Let's just do a general overview because it's gotten very, very busy. If you are in Tyler and Longview, these storms will be making their way towards you later this evening, but they're not there yet. It's probably going to be closer to around 4 to 4:30 before these storms would really start to move toward the Tyler area, even later than that for Longview. But almost all of East Texas under a tornado watch until 9 p.m. We expect almost all of these thunderstorms to start rotating. There is an extreme amount of lightning with this as well, and that's going to cause it to be very, very loud as it moves through, and the heavy rainfall means any tornado could be wrapped in rain. So right now we have multiple tornado warnings, but the only one we know of that is an observed tornado on the ground is the one that is moving toward Grand Saline at this moment. So Grand Saline, you see it right here. Here's Highway 80, here's Highway 110. If you are in Grand Saline, if you are north of Van, between Van and Grand Saline, please be in your small windowless interior room. You need to stay there for the next 30 to 45 minutes until this storm can move past you. If you are in Canton, the storm is moving away from you. So if you are in Canton or if you are on the west side of Canton, you are okay now. This observed tornado will likely continue to move northeast, and that will be moving away from I-20. So if you are along I-20 or south of I-20, this tornado is moving away from you. It is moving toward the Alba Golden area, and it will be there in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So you see where this really bright green and bright red is. The circulation, that tornado on the ground, will be crossing over 110 in the next few minutes, just on the south side of Grand Saline. That will continue to move up to the north, and it will likely cross over Highway 80 between Grand Saline and Mineola, right around the county line. So if you are between Grand Saline and Mineola, please be in your small windowless interior room, as we have an observed tornado on the ground that will be crossing over Highway 110 in the next few minutes, and it will cross into the other counties momentarily. So here's the other tornado warning up to the north. The rotation doesn't look quite as prominent as the one down to the south, but it is still obvious where that rotation is. It's on the south side of Sulphur Springs right now, so this will be on the south side of I-30. This one also moving up to the north and east. They've been moving at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Andrew putting another track on that storm. So in the Mahoney area around 329, Weaver around 333, Flora around 338. Just know where you are in relation to these towns and know that it could move in. Say, you know, don't take these times as specific. When we say 329, we're talking about anywhere from 320 to about 335 depending on the speed of the storm.
We're going to get a tornado warning for Henderson County near Athens. Athens.
Okay, so that rotation that we were showing you earlier in the Athens area, that is starting to pick up. They're about to issue a tornado warning. This is probably going to include Athens and the Murchison area. If you were in Brownsboro and Chandler, it could likely be including your area as well, at least Brownsboro. This is going to be moving up to the north and east toward the Murchison area around 324, near Edom around 339, and this one would continue on toward Lindale if it holds together. And these storms are showing no sign of weakening. They are all starting to rotate as they get into the more warm, moist air that we have right over East Texas. So tornado warning is coming momentarily for Henderson County. That will likely include Murchison and the Athens area. We have an observed tornado on the ground south of Grand Saline crossing over 110. That's going to be heading toward the Alba Golden area by 3:30 and the Quitman area by around 3:40. Black Oak before 4 o'clock, and that tornado warning does include all of those counties. Here's the new one just coming out. It's actually going to include a little portion. Oh, the northern warning. Okay, Smith County, you've been activated with a tornado warning, but it's a very tiny corner up near Mineola of Smith County. This does not include Lindale yet. It does not include the Tyler area. So if you've had your phone go off for a tornado warning in Smith County, let me step in front and show you. So here's Smith County. This is the area of Smith County that is included in that tornado warning. So I don't want you guys in Tyler to start to really worry yet because the tornado warning does not include the Tyler area. It's just for that very corner of Smith County there. However, this new tornado warning that they just issued for Henderson County, that's going to include parts of Van Zant County. That rotation moving away from Athens. It's between Athens and Murchison right now, and will continue on toward the Brownsboro area. Let's put a track on that when you have a chance, Andrew.
Which one? Sorry.
The Henderson County storm. Okay. The one that includes Athens. I want to see if that's going to track close to Brownsboro, Chandler area. That will likely track near Brownsboro. Here's the track right now. So we're talking Murchison around 324, Edom around 339, the Carroll area around 352, Hideaway 357, and then if it holds together, which it likely will, it'll be heading toward Lindale about 4 o'clock. So this is going to track on the north side of Smith County and will likely cause another tornado warning down the line as it gets closer and closer to the Smith County line. So right now, if you're in Smith County and you saw a trigger for a tornado warning, that only includes the corner of Smith County, that very, very far northern corner of Smith County. The rest of Smith County is not under a tornado warning yet. The tornado warning that was just issued includes Henderson County. We still have that tornado warning that includes Grand Saline. That is for an observed tornado. The police department in Canton observed a tornado on the ground. They said the touchdown was at FM 17 and FM 1255. They have no reports of damage or injuries just yet. Gosh, let's hope that continues. You guys in Grand Saline, please be in your small windowless interior room. If you can still hear my voice in Grand Saline and the power's not out, please be in that small windowless interior room. Speaking of the power being out, if you are in the parts of East Texas that haven't been affected by these storms yet, now's the time to plug in your phones and your tablets, charge them up as much as possible before these storms hit your area, because if we continue to see rotation and tornadoes on the ground, there will likely be tornado outages. Pea-sized hail in Sulphur Springs. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
I'm just checking these different chat rooms.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And that's the same thing that we already got.
Okay, so we know a tornado touchdown in Van Zant County. We do not know if it's still on the ground. Is that correct, Andrew? We have not heard if it's still on the ground as it's moved up toward closer to Grand Saline. Okay, so the rotation is right at Grand Saline, right at just south of Highway 80 and 110 is right where the rotation is right now. So here's Highway 80. That goes from Fruitvale, Grand Saline right here. Here's 110 down to the south. You can see the rotation right where that green and red meet. That's likely where the tornado is if there is still one on the ground. That is moving between 110 and Highway 80 right now. It'll be crossing over Highway 80, a little bit closer to Grand Saline than Mineola, but between Grand Saline and Mineola. If a tornado is still on the ground, it'll be crossing over Highway 80 near Grand Saline, moving up to the north and east. That's going to put it close close to the Alba area, basically just south of Alba, and that's going to be just, gosh, in the next 10 minutes or so. If you're in Alba, please be taking your tornado precautions. Go to the lowest floor of your home, put as many walls between you and the outside of the house as possible, put pillows in there. If you are out ahead of these storms and you haven't been affected by them yet, please charge your devices. Please know where your small windowless interior room is. Make sure the kids know as well, so that as soon as you get a tornado warning, you can go there as quickly as possible. Ways to prepare ahead of these storms: I would put the infant car seat in that safe spot already. I would put the kids' bicycle helmets in that safe spot, put a pair of shoes in that safe spot. That way, if a tornado warning is issued for your area, you can just immediately go to the safe spot, close the door, and stay there until the storm passes. We do not have any reports of damage just yet. Thank goodness we don't have any reports of injuries, but we have had a confirmed tornado on the ground in Van Zandt County. That's what you see here, where you see the white outlining that red tornado warning. That means that we have an observed tornado with that storm. We have tornado warnings from Henderson County, Van Zandt County, all the way up into parts of Rains County, Wood County, Hopkins County, and all the way up across the Red River. And I expect more of these as these storms continue to move into more moisture, more heat. The rotation right now in Henderson County has moved away from Athens, but it's starting to move toward the Brownsboro area. It looks a little bit broad right now, not quite as tight as the one up to the north. If you compare these two areas, you can see how tightly wound the rotation is in Van Zandt County and how broad it is in Henderson County, but that can change very, very quickly. So if you are just off to the east of Athens, if you are in Brownsboro, if you are between Brownsboro and Chandler, you need to be in your safe room at this time. You need to stay there until the storm is past your area. This storm's moving up to the north and east, just like all the rest of them. It'll be heading toward the Edom area just after 3:30, just about 3:45 to 3:50 into Hideaway. Just before 4 o'clock, it'll be moving into Lindale, and just after 4 o'clock, it'll be moving into the Mineola area.
Public information officer from Grand Saline. They have a roof blown off of a residence, unknown injuries, and trees down on Highway 110.
Okay, so the tornado's likely still on the ground if we've got that kind of damage in the Grand Saline area.
I don't know for sure if that was in Grand Saline, but he works out of Grand Saline.
Okay, so that was at least near the Grand Saline. So he said 110, so 110 near the Grand Saline area. Trees down on Highway 110. That's likely 110 just south of Highway 80 where that rotation crossed over. Here's the rotation here. You can see that bright red and green, that rotation is crossing over Highway 80 on the east side of Grand Saline right now. Alba Golden, it's headed toward you. If you are in the Alba Golden area, please, please be in your tornado safe room at this time and don't come out until after the storm has passed. I will do my best to tell you who is out of the woods so that you know when you can come out of your safe room, but it's better to be there longer than you need to be than not be there when you need to be. New tornado warning issued. What is this one for?
This is going to be for northern Smith County.
Okay, so this is going to include Lindale. This will not include the Tyler area, but I'd venture to say it includes Swan on the south side of I-20. This is going to be the same area of rotation that looks to be increasing right now in Henderson County. Here's where those storms are now. They are now starting to move into Smith County within the next few minutes. The rotation right now over Murchison. If you were in Murchison, if you were in Brownsboro, please, please be in your tornado safe rooms. This storm is moving toward the Edom area within the next 10 minutes, in less than 10 minutes. Mount Sylvan, it's going to be moving into your area in the next 20 minutes. Lindale, it'll hit the Lindale area and cross over 69 before 4 o'clock this evening. So in the next 30 minutes, it will be crossing over 69 at Lindale, heading toward the Mineola area just after 4 o'clock. If you are in Tyler, you likely saw a tornado warning issued for Smith County. This does not include the Tyler area proper just yet. However, if you live north of Tyler in Swan up to Lindale, this tornado warning does include your area. You can see the rotation right now between Athens and Edom. I'm going to step in front of the screen here again. Here's the rotation. We have two large areas of rotation right right now. Andrew's putting a track on this new tornado warning here. Brownsboro, it's going to be in your area in the next 5 minutes. Mount Sylvan, 349. Lindale before 4 o'clock. Mineola, 403. Hawkins at 413, and we'll continue on to the north and east. We also have this area of rotation. Let's put a track on the Grand Saline storm as well. The area of rotation where we know a tornado has been on the ground. This is crossing now north of Highway 80. It's going to be crossing over 69 between Alba and Mineola. It's going to be heading toward the Golden area within the next couple of minutes. It is right on the edge of being right at Highway 69 right now. This has had an observed tornado on the ground. It has caused damage as it moved over 110 and will continue to cross over not 169. This will cross over Highway 69 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. The Golden area around 332, 335-ish, and will continue on toward Calvary around 330 to 340, and the Quitman area around 340 to 345. So it looks like the rotation is going to stay just up to the north of you guys in Mineola. Please do not travel between Mineola and Emory in the next few minutes, as this will be crossing over 69 and heading toward the Quitman area. If you are in Mineola, you are under a tornado warning at this time, but that's likely because of the rotation down to the south, because we have multiple areas of rotation right now in East Texas. This area of rotation that you see just past Grand Saline, you guys in Grand Saline, you should be in the clear as far as this rotation goes now. If you're in Emory, you are outside of the rotation as well. That rotation is going to continue to lift up to the north, and it's going to be crossing over 69 between Alba and Golden areas within the next few minutes. That rotation will stay just to the north of Mineola, but don't rest easy yet in Mineola, because you have another area of rotation that's going to be moving in. So 356 Black Oak, 402 at Picton.
They're technically under 2 tornado warnings in Mineola right now. The observed one from Van Zandt County, and then the one from Henderson County moving into Smith County.
I think the rotation with the observed warning is probably going to stay north of at least downtown Mineola. It's going to stay north between Mineola and Emory crossing 69. But remember, there's another area of rotation down to the south that's still heading up toward Mineola. That's the area of rotation you see right now in Henderson County. Trying to keep all of you updated. If you're not seeing your area on the map yet, just bear with us. I promise to show you all of East Texas at some point. We've got 2 areas of rotation that we're watching, 2 tornado warnings that continue to move up to the north and east. Those northerly tornado warnings, let's zoom out just the northerly tornado warnings, if that has moved north of I-30.
They're all outside of the viewing area.
Okay, so all the warnings that have been north for Sulphur Springs that have now moved out of our area. So I'm going to focus on these 2 that are just right now in Van Zandt and Henderson County.
About that. There's one that slipped my eye, the one in Sulphur Springs.
Oh, there is still some rotation between Sulphur Springs and Mount Vernon. Okay, let me focus on this one for a minute, because we haven't talked about this one in the last few minutes. So you guys in the Sulphur Springs area, the rotation looks like it's between you and Picton, Sulphur Springs, and Seymour, moving up to the north and east. Andrew's going to put a track on it here. It's going to be in the Weaver area just after 3:30, Sulphur Bluff around 3:54, Hagensport just after 4 o'clock, and Bogota after 4:15. So that area of rotation, once again, this is not one that we have observed a tornado on the ground with, but it is going to cross over the highway between Sulphur Springs and the Picton area momentarily. It's right kind of between Sulphur Springs and Picton, heading toward the Weaver area. It's a little bit messy to see where the rotation is, but it's likely right here on the southeastern side of Sulphur Springs. It may be trying to cycle up a little bit further up to the north, and that's why it looks a little messy along I-30 there. If you are in the Mount Vernon area, this storm looks like it's going to cross just north of you toward Talco. It's going to be crossing over 37 just before it gets to the Talco area, and then cross over 271, and then past 271, another tornado warning there. That's moving up toward Clarksville. That's out of our viewing area, so I'm not going to spend much time on that. But the area of rotation that's right now right along or just barely south of I-30 and just off to the east of downtown Sulphur Springs, that's going to be crossing over I-30 momentarily right before it gets toward the Mount Vernon area. It's likely going to cross I-30 between Sulphur Springs and Mount Vernon, heading up to the north and east near the Bogota area about 410 to 415 in that area. So we have an area of rotation right now between Sulphur Springs and Picton, that area of rotation right near or just barely south of I-30 between the Sulphur Springs and Saltillo area, and between Sulphur Springs and Picton. That's where that area of rotation is. So we have that tornado warning that includes Hopkins County. We have 2 more tornado warnings down to the, well, 3 more tornado warnings, really, I think so. There's 3 storms that we're really watching. This one storm we've got in Henderson County, that's going to be moving up toward Hideaway and Lindale. We have another storm that we know has had a tornado on the ground that's moving past Grand Saline. That's now crossing over the county line. It'll be moving towards 69 very quickly between Emory and Mineola, right around the Alba Golden area. If you were in Alba Golden, this has a history of producing a tornado. I do not know if a tornado is on the ground right now, but I know a tornado was on the ground with this storm as it moved through Canton and as it moved through Grand Saline. So Alba Golden, the rotation is right over you right now, and there could likely be a tornado on the ground about to cross over Highway 69 between Alba and Golden and just barely into the Calvary area. Looks like it'll be moving right across the northwestern edge of Quitman in the next few minutes as well. Here's that rotation, that bright red, bright green, crossing over 69 in the next 5 minutes or so. They've been moving pretty slowly up to the north and east at about 35 to 45 miles per hour, and that means that it's going to be crossing 69 in the next few minutes. Right now it's kind of right there at FM 779, and I'm not sure which road goes up toward Alba. Can you track that road? Is that FM 17 all the way down? So south FM 17, FM 779, that's where the rotation is, right there at the intersection of 779 and 17 between Alba and Golden. It'll be crossing over 69 right between Alba and Golden. I know it's not that far of a distance, so it's going to be crossing right between the 2 communities and heading toward Highway 182 and staying maybe just on the northwest side of the Quitman area. So if you were in Quitman, go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now. This has had a tornado on the ground as it moved through Van Zandt County, and it could possibly have a tornado on the ground as we speak. This is not the only area of rotation that we're watching. We continue to watch a couple more areas of rotation, one of which is in the Sulphur Springs area. It's more of a broad area.
So they issued a tornado warning for Franklin and Titus County.
Okay, for that same area of rotation.
Yes, that's the one we just got.
So here's that area of rotation. It's more broad than what we see down to the south, which, cross your fingers and toes, hopefully means there's not a tornado on the ground, but the entire storm is rotating, so it could produce a tornado at any moment, even if there's not a tornado with it now. That's why they've issued the tornado warning. You can see it'll be near the Flora area at 3:42, Hagensport around 3:56, Bogota around 4:09, and the Mabry area around 4:26. So that new tornado warning was just issued. That is going to include this rotation that you see just on the east side of Sulphur Springs, just on the north side of Pickman. If you're in the Seymour area, you are done with this. They just let that other tornado warning expire, so now Sulphur Springs just outside of the area of rotation. It looks like that area of rotation is now starting to move on the north side of I-30. It'll be crossing very close to the Flora area and crossing right over Hagensport and just barely on the north side of the Talco area and heading on toward Clarksville. Of course, another area of rotation up near Clarksville. This one is going to be following right behind it. So if you were in the Talco area, if you were in Mount Vernon, if you were in that Flora area, go ahead and take your tornado precautions. Again, because I know you already have been, stay in that small windowless interior room until this next storm passes. We haven't seen all of East Texas recently, Andrew, so I'm going to have you zoom out, show everything with reflectivity so that I can just show everyone what's going on right now. These storms continue to intensify as they're moving into the East Texas area. They're just starting to get closer and closer to the Tyler area and just off to the west of Tyler, including Brownsboro and Murchison. We have a tornado warning in effect. That tornado warning expected to cross into the northern portions of Smith County near Lindale, near the Swan area in the next few minutes. The rotation right now right over Brownsboro. If you were in Brownsboro, if you were in Chandler, if you were anywhere between Brownsboro and Chandler, please be in that small windowless interior room. If you were in Lindale, get to your safe room now, because this will be moving into the Lindale area in the next 15 to 20 minutes and will continue on toward Hawkins. So you guys in Hawkins, be listening for this. This area of rotation is tightening up, and this is exactly what we saw happen in Van Zandt County it started to tighten up, and then we actually had an observed tornado on the ground. Is there anything new from the Weather Service?
Nothing new. They're going to cancel the warning for rains in Van Zandt counties because the area of circulation has moved into Wood County, so that warning has just been dropped. They've noted the circulation in Henderson County that'll be moving into southeastern Van Zandt, northwestern Smith. Looked like it was tightening. They noted that a couple minutes ago.
Okay, so a tornado is becoming more and more likely near the Brownsboro area, between Brownsboro and Edom. Please, please, if you are in Brownsboro, Edom, anywhere in that area, please be taking your tornado precautions. Please go to a small windowless interior room. If you have an open floor plan house, I know a lot of us do these days. If you have to go to a hallway, do that. Stay away from windows. Close all the doors to the hallway and stay in the hallway with blankets and pillows. If you have an infant at home, please put them in their infant car seat. Strap them in and go ahead and put them in just like you were getting in the car, and put them in that safe room with you. That car seat will help protect them and their head if there is a tornado on the ground. Speaking of protecting your heads, toddlers and kids, put on your bicycle helmets, your bicycle pads, go to that safe room, put on your shoes, make sure you have on your shoes, because if the worst happens, you do not want to be climbing out of your safe room without any shoes on at all. So right now we've got a tornado warning in effect for the Brownsboro and Edom area. It looks like the circulation has moved past you guys in Murchison. So in Murchison, you are okay as far as rotation goes. I know there's still thunderstorms in that area, but the rotation has moved past Murchison. It is right now between Brownsboro and Edom that we see that really tight circulation and the possibility of a tornado on the ground at any moment. So that's going to be moving into the corner of Van Zandt County. So it'll be crossing over the Henderson-Van Zandt County line between Brownsboro and Edom. The Strouds in Redland, we have a weather watcher in Redland. You guys in Redland, please, if you're listening to me, make sure that you are taking your tornado precautions. Please be in your small windowless interior room. I know that this can get scary, and sometimes you think it might be overkill to go to that room when it doesn't seem so bad outside in your area, but there could be a tornado that hits the ground at any moment with this. We saw this exact thing happen in Van Zandt County about an hour ago, where a tornado was observed on the ground when it started to look like this on radar. So just to let you know, we are seeing the same thing happen, and they did confirm a tornado touchdown in parts of Van Zandt County and did some damage. So we're going to be watching this area right in the edge of Henderson County, where Henderson County meets Van Zandt County, between Brownsboro and Edom. If you are in Brownsboro, please, please stay in your windowless interior room. If you are in Edom, please be in that safe room as well. If you are in New Harmony, if you are in Lindale, if you are in Mineola, this storm is heading up towards you. We can't track it precisely. It could jog north or south, so even if you're in Mineola, the circulation may stay south of you, but let's just be better safe than sorry. Get in your small windowless interior room, because if it is to jog further north, it would hit Mineola by 4:15, and that means you have about 30 minutes to prepare before a possible tornado could be in your area. That is why we issue the tornado warnings out ahead of the storm. That is why we stay on the air for as long as we do with these tornado warnings, because I know lots of people are going about their day because there aren't any storms in your area yet, but once the storm starts to rumble in your area, you turn on the TV, and you may have missed everything I've said for the past hour, but if you're just now turning on your TV, I want you to be taking those tornado precautions. I want you to be as safe as possible. There is a large area of rotation over Brownsboro, moving between Brownsboro and Edom. There is another area of rotation that is crossing over 69 right now. This storm has had a history of producing a tornado when it was on the ground in Van Zandt County, and could very well have a tornado with it right now as it crosses over 69 near the Alba area. It's going to be moving up in the northwestern corner of Quitman near FM 288 and 154, crossing over 515 as well. Andrew's putting a track on that, and you can see that the rotation is going to cross on the north side of Quitman there, and it's going to be heading toward the Black Oak area right at 4 o'clock. So in the next 15 minutes, it'll be near Black Oak, and then it'll be heading on toward Picton in about 20 minutes or so. This area of rotation, once again, has proven to produce a tornado when it was in Van Zandt County, when it was in Canton, when it was in Grand Saline. We know a tornado was on the ground. It is possible that a tornado is still on the ground ground, crossing over 69 at this time, and will be moving just barely on the north and northwest side of the Quitman area. If you are in Quitman, please be taking your tornado precautions at this time. I'm going to repeat myself because I want to make sure everybody hears it. Take a deep breath. We're going to get through this together. Go to a small windowless interior room. First things first, go to the lowest floor of your home. Don't stay upstairs. Once you're in the lowest floor of your home, stay away from windows. Get away from windows as quickly as possible. That is going to be the first thing that breaks with high winds, are going to be your glass windows, and you do not want to be anywhere where that glass windows are. Then you want to put as many walls between you and the outside of your house as possible. You want to put the kids, the infants in their car seat, strap them into their car seat and keep them there. You want the toddlers in their bicycle helmets. Another area of rotation up to the north of I-30 that Andrew has just zoomed into continues to have a tornado warning. That's going to be in effect for the Saltillo area and Mount Vernon. You are under a tornado warning until 4:15. That's going to include Franklin and Titus counties. This area, we do not have confirmation of anything on the ground, but it has been rotating significantly for the past 30 minutes or so as it's continued to move past Sulphur Springs. Now the rotation is on the north side of I-30 and will be crossing over 37 between Bogota and Mount Vernon, probably in about 5 to 10 minutes. You can see the bright pink and red here, the bright green here. That's where the rotation is likely right now, and will continue to move up to the north and east through Franklin and Titus counties, a tornado warning in effect until 4:15. Zooming out to all of East Texas, let's try to take a picture of what's happening. All of these thunderstorms are developing out ahead of the cold front. All of them are beginning to rotate. They are now starting to move into Smith County. They will be moving into Gregg County probably in about an hour and a half. They'll be moving into Upshur County within an hour or so. Almost every thunderstorm, especially on the leading edge of this line, has begun to rotate. We have multiple tornado warnings in effect right now for East Texas. We have a tornado warning near I-30. We have a tornado warning crossing over 69 near the Quitman area. We have another tornado warning in the very corner of Van Zant County that's heading toward Lindale and I-20. And these are going to continue to move up to the north and east into even better and better air. So I expect them to continue to rotate through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening as well. So here are the areas of rotation we're watching. We have the area of rotation up to the north, that is north of I-30. We have an area of rotation that is just now crossed over 69. It's going to be moving on the north and northwest side of Quitman. We have another area of rotation moving north of the Brownsboro area. It's going to be crossing over 64 just before it moves into Smith County. It is headed toward Hideaway. It is headed toward Lindale. We only had one confirmed tornado on the ground so far, and that is with the area of rotation that's crossed over 69 near Quitman. So this rotation now moving past the Alba area. So you guys in Emory, you guys in Grand Saline, you guys in Alba, Golden, this rotation is moving past you now. This is going to be moving up toward the Picton area, right behind that other area of rotation. Remember, they're acting like train cars. They're training, moving one after the other. So this will be in the Black Oak area just after 4 o'clock, in the Picton area about 4:11, in the Pearly area around 4:20 or so. If you were in Quitman, please be taking your tornado precautions at this time. If you were in Emory, you were okay. If you were Lake Tawakoni, you're okay. If you're in Canton and Grand Saline, you've got a heavy thunderstorm in that area, but it is not rotating at this time. It's the leading edge of storms that are rotating. So if you were in Mount Pleasant, if you were in Pittsburgh, if you were in Gilmer, if you were in Tyler, these are all headed that direction. You need to be watching these very, very carefully. If you don't already know where your safe room is, now's the time to figure it out. Find out which room in your house has as many walls that will protect you from the outside of the house as possible. And that's where you want to go ahead and throw some pillows in there, some blankets in there, put your and the kids' shoes in there, and go ahead and just have it ready so that if a tornado warning is issued for your area, you can just immediately jump up from the TV and run straight to that safe room, close the door, and stay there until the tornadoes move past last, because we do know there has been at least one tornado touchdown, and I don't think that will be the last. The area of rotation that's right now in the little southeastern corner of Van Zandt County, it looks like Brownsboro, the rotation has moved past you. Chandler, the rotation is just up to the north and west of you. It's going to be crossing over the county line into Smith County and moving toward the Mount Sylvan area within the next 10 minutes. It'll be moving into Lindale in about 10 to 15 minutes, and the Pine Mills area by around 4:30. So this is going to be tracking up to the north of Gilmer in the next hour or so. Those of you in Henderson County, it looks like the rotation has moved out of Henderson County, so that tornado warning for Henderson County will likely be dropped in the next few minutes, but they will continue the tornado warning downstream through parts of northern Smith County and into the southern portions of Wood County. So Mount Sylvan, Lindale, you are in the path of this storm. The Swan area between Lindale and Tyler, this rotation could cross very close to you as well, so you need to be in those tornado safe rooms as well. You can see they've now dropped Henderson County from that tornado warning. Here's the area of rotation right now. It's just south of Van. If you are in Van, stay inside, but the rotation is just down to the south of you. It's moving past the Edom area. So if you are in your safe room in Edom, give it another 5 or 10 minutes to be on the safe side, and then you can come out of your safe room in the Edom area. If you are in Van, this rotation is past you. You do not have to be in your safe room in the Van area. If you are in Mineola, this is going to cross just down to the south of you. If you are in Lindale, please go ahead and get in your safe room now. This will be in the Lindale area within the next 10 minutes or so as it moves up to the north and east. Do we have any other confirmation of anything on the ground?
No, they are canceling the warning for Hopkins County as that storm moves into Smith County. There's a picture, but it's not cleared for use from Van Zandt County of that tornado.
On the ground, okay.
Yeah. So we do have picture evidence of what law enforcement reported to
Okay,
us.
so they're going to cancel the Hopkins County warning?
Correct. I'll zoom things out here.
Okay, so that very northern warning, they canceled Hopkins County out of the warning because the warning is now in the northern portion of Franklin County. So that area of rotation right now is going to be crossing over 37 north of the Mount Vernon area. If you were in Talco, I know that there is someone on Facebook that follows me in Talco. She asks about the Talco area. If you were in Talco, you were under this tornado warning until... Do we know what time the tornado warning expires for Franklin? 4:15. So Franklin County and Titus County under this tornado warning.
Titus County is about to get a tornado warning.
Okay, and they're going to do a new tornado warning for this. The new tornado warning will likely be north of Mount Pleasant. If you are in the Mount Pleasant area, you do not want to travel between Mount Pleasant and Talco. The rotation will be moving over Talco, but it does not look to affect the Mount Pleasant area, at least not this area of rotation. This is moving up to the north and east and will be near Talco in less than 10 minutes. Maple Springs in about 15 minutes, and will continue moving closer to Highway 82, which is out of our area. So I know nobody is watching us basically past the Talco area. So we're going to stick with this storm until it moves past Talco at 4 o'clock, and then we've got the other storms down to the south. So rotation right now, crossing Highway 37 north of Mount Vernon, headed straight toward the Talco area. This storm is rotating, but we do not have any confirmation of anything on the ground. If there is something on the ground, it's likely right over Highway 37, just north of the Mount Vernon area, and once again that rotation is headed toward Talco. What is this from Van Zandt County too?
No, this is
Clarksville.
So just to the north, one of the Red River counties, that is an observed tornado. I was going to make a note about this Franklin County and soon to be Titus County. That's the general area that the National Severe Storms Laboratory Science Team is. We know that they launched a special weather balloon. They're doing some research in that area, but they had eyes on these storms earlier. So my gut tells me that if there is a tornado, they would let us know, but we've not heard that from that team yet.
So this area of rotation just north of Mount Vernon, that's in Franklin County.
Looks like we're going to get
a new tornado warning. That one I did not expect. That's going to include that rotation that moved through Alba.
Yes.
Okay, so same area of rotation, new tornado warning that'll include Hopkins County until 4:15. That's for the area of rotation that you see right between Quitman and Seymour. What road is that 154? That goes out, I think that's 154 between Quitman and Seymour. So it's going to be around the Yantis area, you guys. If you were in Yantis, Marty Gerald, our weather watcher in Yantis, please take your tornado precautions. There is an area of rotation right near the Yantis area. That's going to be just on the north and west side of Quitman, moving through Yantis right now, heading up toward the Picton area. That is a new tornado warning that was just issued and does include Seymour, Picton, and the eastern portion of Sulphur Springs. This will be moving toward the Picton area at 4:07. New tornado warning. That's going to be downwind from the Mount Vernon storm. Yeah. Okay, it's going to be a busy afternoon, folks. Give me a minute to take a drink.
I'll zoom out real quick, let you get your drink. So in Deep East Texas, we do have those thunderstorms that are moving in. None of them are warned at this time. All of the warnings are in the northern half of the area, where we have had a confirmed tornado on the ground that moved through Van Zant County. That storm is now moving into northern Wood County. We'll be moving into southern Hopkins County here in the next couple of minutes. We also have tornado warnings for northern Franklin and northern Titus counties, and then a tornado warning for northern Smith County and southern Wood County. Thus far, all of these warnings have really only been for 3 areas of circulation that we've been watching, but they've all been just continuing to cycle.
So I'm looking at our tower cam in Tyler, because I know so many people in Tyler and Longview watch us, and they're a little worried, because if you're in Tyler, they issue warnings by county. So Smith County got a tornado warning, and a lot of people in Tyler, I know, have been texting me and asking me about it. If you are in the Tyler proper area, anywhere from just north of downtown all the way down to South Tyler, this is going to include Flint and Gresham, all the way down to Bullard, Troop, all of those areas of Smith County, you are not under a tornado warning. If you are in the city of Tyler, you do not need to take any tornado precautions. These areas of rotation are north of Tyler. They are in Smith County, but they are north of Tyler. However, north of Tyler, if you are in the Swan area, if you are in Lindale, if you are in Mineola, if you are anywhere north of Tyler along I-20 in Smith County, that is where the rotation is. It is right near the Hideaway area, and it is going to continue to move up to the north and east. So those of you in Hideaway, please be in your safe room. If you're not there already, get there right now. Make sure the kids have on their bicycle helmets. Grab a pillow from the bed to cover your head if you start to hear really high winds outside. This area of rotation is right between Van and Mount Sylvan. It's crossing over I-20 right at Hideaway, right there at Hideaway, I-20. So that's going to be right near the Collins Street Bakery on I-20, if you know where that is. Right at I-20 and Highway 110 is where that rotation is crossing over. We have seen tornadoes touch down today. I cannot stress that enough. This is not just radar indicated tornadoes today. We have seen tornadoes touch down. New tornado warning includes Smith, Upshur, and Wood counties. Once again, this does not include the city of Tyler. If you are watching me in the city of Tyler, take a deep breath. The tornado warning is north of you. As long as you stay in Tyler and don't travel north, it does not look to hit the Tyler area. That area of rotation that they've just issued the newest tornado warning for, that's going to be in effect until 4:45 for Smith, Upshur, and Wood counties. That's what Andrew has tracked right now. It is going to be moving into the Lindale area within the next few minutes. It is likely right over I-20 at Hideaway and the Collins Street Bakery. Sirens are going off in Lindale right now. Please, whether you hear the sirens or not, if you were in Lindale, get in your small windowless interior room. Go to a room in the middle of your house or a hallway. If you have to get in a hallway, that's okay. Close all the doors. Try to make it as small of a room as possible and get under pillows so that if any debris or anything starts flying around in the air, you can protect your head. That's what we tell the kids at schools all the time. The biggest thing is to protect your head with anything that might be flying in the air with the tornado tornado. We do not have confirmation of a tornado on the ground with this storm. However, the rotation has increased as it moved through Henderson County and continues to cycle up into parts of Smith County. The rotation itself is now moving out of Van Zant County. Those of you in Edom and in that far corner of Van Zant County along Highway 64, you are out of this tornado warning. I expect them to kind of drop off that little corner of the tornado warning soon. The tornado warning right now for areas along I-20 from Hideaway to Lindale, this is going to continue to move up toward Mineola in the next 10 to 15 minutes. If you were in Mineola, if you were in Quitman, if you were in Haynesville, if you were in Oak Grove, if you were in the Stout area, please be taking your tornado precautions. This could also move toward the Hawkins area depending on if it jogs right or left. A lot of times once we see a tornado on the ground, they start to jog a little bit further to the right because the whole storm itself is rotating. So Andrew's going to put a track on that entire area. Mineola at 411, Hawkins at 417, Oak Grove at 433, the Enoch area at 440. If you are near any of these areas, go to that small windowless interior room in the middle of your home, whether it's a hallway or a bathroom or a closet or even just a pantry. It doesn't have to be a big room. Just put as many walls between you and the outside of your house as possible. We are going to continue to see these storms stay very strong as they move into other parts of East Texas. Zooming out, you can see there are at least 2 areas of rotation, maybe 3. We've got 1 area of rotation crossing over Highway 37 between Bogota and Mount Vernon. That's going to be moving into the Talco area in the next few minutes. That tornado warning is going to be in effect until 4:45 for Franklin and Titus counties. That does include the town of Talco. This is going to be just up to the north of Mount Vernon. If you are in Mount Vernon, you are south of this rotation. If you are in Mount Pleasant, you are south of this rotation. If you are in Talco, this rotation is going to move right over you, crossing over 271. It is between Highway 37 and 271 at this time. Most of the sky warn is activated, so hopefully if there's a tornado on the ground anywhere, we will know about it. We'd sure appreciate those sky warn people.
We do want to make note that because it's 4 o'clock, our viewers in Deep East Texas, our KTRE station, are now joining us. So for those of you in the Lufkin, Nacogdoches area, you're now joining severe weather coverage for the KLTV station. Deep East Texas is also under a tornado watch as well. There have just been no warnings up to this point.
And the one storm that's moving into Deep East Texas near the Trinity County line looks like it is weakening just a little bit, so that's good news. So if you're just now joining us for the 4 o'clock news and you were down to the south near Crockett, near Trinity, you've got a couple of thunderstorms in your area. Nothing is severe, and that thunderstorm over Trinity does look to be weakening as well. The main reason that we've been on the air for a while now is because of the tornado warnings that continue up to the north. So here's a look at the northern half of East Texas. If you're in Jacksonville, these haven't made it to you yet. In fact, everything that looks to be headed toward Jacksonville has weakened just a little bit. Great news there. If you were in Tyler, the rotation is north of you, but there's still kind of that appendage of the storm that goes down into Henderson County, so there's still likely going to be a heavy thunderstorm that moves through the Tyler area, but the areas of rotation are staying up to the north. Right now, is the area of rotation near Hideaway is crossing over I-20, so I'm going to say within the next 5 minutes, all areas of rotation will be north of I-20. That means if you live south of I-20, you will be out of all of these tornado warnings momentarily. This is moving through the Hideaway area, through the Lindale area. We also have rotation. We saw that rotation in Yantis. It doesn't really look like that one's held together.
Yes, so the Weather Service is noting they noticed the same thing. They're going to let and see if it cycles.
Okay. So they're going to hold on to the warning just in
Yes.
case, but right now it looks like that storm might be weakening. Good news for the Yantis area that might be weakening just a little bit. Good news for those downstream in Hopkins County, but we still have 2 pretty distinct areas of rotation. One of those up to the north near the Talco area, and one of those a little bit further down to the south. You can see those 2 areas of rotation. I'm going to step in front of the wall here just to point them out. One area of rotation up to the north. This is going to be north of I-30, continuing to move further to the north and east. We've got another one that's just on the north side of I-20. This one is moving off to the north and east. That area of rotation is right now over Hideaway and Lindale. Hopefully, if you're listening to me in Hideaway and Lindale, you're already in your safe room. If not, get there now. This area of rotation is going to track north of Winona. So the tornado warning does not include the Winona area, but it does include that corner of Smith County there, and will continue to move into Wood County, probably riding just on the south side of Mineola. The last area of rotation rode just north of Mineola. Now this one's going to be just on the south side of Mineola. I know you guys in Mineola have been under the gun for several tornado warnings at this point. Please just go ahead and stay in your safe room just to be on the safest side possible. If you are in Canton, if you are in Sulphur Springs, if you are in any of Van Zant County, you are done with the tornado warnings at this point. We now have a flash flood warning up to the north, included with that tornado warning moving into the Talco area. I mentioned, gosh, it's been a while ago now, but I mentioned that there was some very heavy rainfall with these thunderstorms, so I wouldn't be surprised if flash flood warnings were issued during the day today, because not only is there very heavy rainfall, but we've been talking about these storms training, like train cars. They're kind of lined up one after the other, and so they're dumping heavy rainfall, and then another storm comes right behind them and dumps more heavy rainfall. So we'll likely see more flash flood warnings for some of these areas as we get later into the day and the storms continue. So let's just kind of wrap things up as far as what's going on across all of East Texas right now. We have multiple tornado warnings. However, all of the rotation is north of I-20. So if you live south of I-20, this does include the city of Tyler. You are not in any of those tornado warnings. Even though the tornado warning does include parts of Smith County, it does not include the city of Tyler. There are showers and thunderstorms developing in Anderson County, and they're going to be moving into Henderson County. They'll likely start to move into Cherokee County, but these storms are not severe at this time. The only severe thunderstorms are now north of I-20. So I can't stress this enough. If you are south of I-20, you are okay as far as these tornadoes go. But if you are on the north side of I-20, we continue to see rotation with these thunderstorms. And that one in the northern portion of Smith County is looking very, very angry. So rotation right now is going to be crossing over, is it crossing over 69? Almost.
It's almost to 69.
So the rotation is between 110 and 69 in Lindale. It'll be crossing over 69 in the next 5 minutes or so. And there is the possibility.
That's from earlier.
Okay, so that's an earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. The area of rotation that we know had an observed tornado when it went through Canton and went through Grand Saline, that area of rotation has lifted up to the north, and if I'm not mistaken, it has dissipated some.
Yes.
So
that's the area that is moved into Hopkins. That they said they're going to keep the warning going.
Okay, but it continues to weaken. So yeah, that area of rotation between, say, Seymour and Winsboro, that is the area that did produce a tornado a while ago. However, it has weakened as it continues to move up to the north. Honestly, it really looks like we only have 2 areas of rotation that that really need to be focused on. So those of you in the Talco area, you have an area of rotation over you right now. There is no observed tornado with this. At least I don't think so. It looks like there's a white outline to that.
It's tagged because it's of large hail within that thunderstorm, but last I checked, it's not observed.
Okay, we have not looked at hail in a while, so let's take a look at where the large hail is. Oh, goodness. Okay, so very large hail falling in the northern portion of Smith County. Once again, this is not going to affect the Tyler area. This is going to be for areas around Lindale. You can see very large hail from Hideaway almost all the way up to Mineola. We're talking golf ball sized hail within this rotation. That's going to be, the rotation is between I-20 and Highway 69 on the west side of Lindale. That's also where the largest hail could be reported right now. I haven't seen any hail reports in the chat.
I question if if this is verifying.
Okay.
Since we haven't gotten any reports.
Well, what could be happening is the hail's in the storm. It's just the updraft is so strong, it's not allowing the hail to actually fall to the surface. However, if the updraft starts to weaken at all, the good news with that is it means it'll weaken the rotation. The bad news is any large hail within that thunderstorm that may not be hitting the ground, if the updraft weakens, it won't keep that hail up anymore. So it will start to fall to the ground. So even if you're not seeing large hail in the Lindale area, you could if this updraft weakens even a little bit. The area of rotation will be crossing over 69 momentarily and heading up toward Highway 80 between Mineola and Big Sandy. It looks like it's going to stay between Mineola and Hawkins, but it's going to get very, very close to both. So if you were in Mineola, if you were in Hawkins, make sure you were taking your tornado precautions. If you are just now joining us, we are interrupting program for multiple tornado warnings on the north side of I-20. Those of you with storm anxiety, even if it is storming in your area south of I-20, if you live south of I-20, there are no tornado warnings in effect. The tornado warning for Smith County, I would venture to say the rotation being north of I-20, you could kind of take off that portion of the tornado warning. So the only storms that could possibly produce a tornado at this time are going to be north of I-20. Even if it's storming in your area south of I-20, you are okay as far as the rotation goes. Multiple tornado warnings continue for the next while. Let's see, a tornado warning for Franklin and Titus County until 4:45. A tornado warning for Smith, Upshur, and Wood counties until 4:45. A tornado warning for Hopkins County until 4:15. That's the one that we've seen the rotation weaken quite a bit, but they're going to just let the tornado warning stay just in case because it is a very strong thunderstorm. We also have tornado warnings that are going to be expiring at 4:15 for Franklin, Titus, Smith, and Wood counties. We have multiple tornado warnings for individual storms, and that's why we have so many that are going to expire soon. Let's see, it's 4:09. So in the next 5 to 6 minutes, we're going to have several of these drop off, and then we'll be able to see which areas of rotation can hold together. Right now, it looks like just 2 areas of rotation. One of those is right on top of Highway 69 near the Lindale area. That's going to be moving up toward Oak Grove at 4:33, the Brumley area just before 5 o'clock. This area of rotation has held together as it moved through Henderson County, and it increased in intensity as it moved across I-20. It is north of I-20 now. Once again, if you were south of I-20 anywhere in our viewing area, you are not going to have to deal with the tornado warning. Flash flood warning just issued for Smith, Upshur, and Wood counties from the heavy rainfall with this thunderstorm that also has rotation with it. This is going to include any areas up to the north and east of Tyler. So if you were in the Tyler area, I would suggest not trying to drive up to the north toward Lindale. Not only are you going to be driving into that very strong thunderstorm, but you could be driving into some flooded roadways as well. There's the flash flood warning until 7:15 for Smith, Upshur, and Wood counties. Very, very heavy rainfall falling with this storm. The possibility of large hail with this thunderstorm, and it is rotating as it crosses over 69, right where you see that it says Lindale, and then you can see that purple dot just north of Lindale. That is likely where a tornado would be located if there is one on the ground. So you can see the area of rotation right now, that bright green and red right together. Even if there's not a tornado on the ground, that bright green means there's some really strong winds in this storm. It could likely be gusting up to 70 miles per hour as it crosses over Highway 69 in the next few minutes. And it looks like it'll continue on to the north and east. So keep in mind, if you're behind this storm, Canton to Athens, you're okay. Brownsboro, you're okay now. Chandler, you're okay. The city of Tyler, you're okay. It's Mineola, Lindale, and all those areas from Mineola to Hawkins down to around Lindale and up to Quitman that we are watching. I think the rotation seems to be broadening a little bit, but that might actually mean it's turning into somewhat of a straight line wind situation, especially with that bright green that we're seeing in the velocity on radar. Keep in mind, you may not see a tornado on the ground if there is one, because it could be wrapped in some very heavy rainfall with this storm. Not only is it heavy rainfall, but it's frequent lightning. It is a very loud, very nasty storm moving through the northern portions of Smith County, and it's going to be moving into the southern portions of Wood County County. Of course, the storm itself already in Wood County, but the circulation with it is right now in the Lindale area. That circulation right over Lindale and just north of Lindale, between Lindale and Mineola, and that is lifting up to the north. So we have seen tornadoes touch down in East Texas earlier this afternoon. It is possible that we could see them again. So we're going to be watching this very carefully. There are a few thunderstorms that have tried to pop up in the Tyler area. Remember, the rotation is north of Tyler and continues to move off to the north and east. So the rotation is moving away from Tyler. If you are in the Tyler area, the rotation is moving away from you. You are fine as far as tornadoes go. You do not need to be in your safe room. If you are in the Longview area, it looks like a lot of these are going to track up to the north of you. We'll have to watch development down to the south and west. But right now, the strongest storms are going to track north of the Longview area. It looks like a lot of the storm activity is starting to move out of Sulphur Springs. You can see, is that a new tornado warning that they just issued?
Where?
No, I think the storms were just moving past it, and you could finally see the red of the tornado warning between Sulphur Springs and I-20. Okay, so multiple tornado warnings all along this line. Some of them will be allowed to expire in the next couple of minutes. You're going to see some of these tornado warnings drop off the map in just a couple of minutes because they do expire at 4:15. However, there are still two distinct areas of rotation that are moving through East Texas. Both of them are north of I-20. I can't stress enough that if you are south of I-20, you are okay. You do not need to be in your safe room. Everything is fine south of I-20. Even though we might see thunderstorms later today, nothing is severe south of I-20 right now. We have the flash flood warning. That's what you see in blue. The tornado warning that you see in red. Here are the multiple tornado warnings. Here's the one that we're just starting to see the red behind it because that storm is moving out. This warning will be allowed to expire at 4:15, so that will drop off the map momentarily. There will also be another warning kind of down to the south. You can see a couple of red lines here. One of those warnings will be dropping off at 4:15 as well, so it'll look a little bit less busy at about 4:15 when a couple of these warnings drop off. You can see that several of them are in effect until 4:15. Those flash flood warnings are going to be in effect for hours, though. Keep that in mind. The heavy rainfall takes a while before that starts to improve. So the flash flood warnings will be in effect until 7 o'clock, until 7:15, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of those issued. We still have an area of rotation up to the north of Mount Pleasant that is moving past the Talco area now. So if you are in Talco, that tornado warning is moving out of your area, and it's going to continue up to the north. I'm not going to focus on this one too much because once it moves across the river there, it gets out of our viewing area, so I know people up to the north of us don't actually see KLTV, so I don't want to focus on this too much, but I know people in Talco that do watch us, and those of you in Talco, just know the rotation is moving past the Talco area. You are going to be under a flash flood warning until 7 p.m. in the Talco area. Now, the area down to the south that is still rotating in northern Smith County, that's going to be the storm that we focus on for the next few minutes, because the other one is starting to move out of our area. So here's that area of rotation. It's broadened out a little bit, but boy, those greens are looking really, really bright. So even if there's not a tornado on the ground, there's going to be some really strong winds within this thunderstorm and the possibility of some very large hail as well. This is moving toward the Haynesville area at 4:26, toward Pine Mills at 4:31, toward Oak Grove at 4:36, toward the Perryville area at 4:49, and this tornado warning is in effect until 4:30. 4:45. Smith, Upshur, Wood counties. I think Smith County is going to be done with the tornado warning by 4:30, but it will continue downstream in Upshur and Wood counties until 4:45. So once again, this storm is moving to the north and east. It's been over the Lindale area. Lindale, you could be seeing some large hail, some very strong winds, and the possibility of a tornado at any moment, because there's definitely rotation with this storm. To me, it looks like the entire storm is rotating. The question is that rotation reaching the ground as a tornado, or is it just the entire supercell itself that's rotating? And that may be the case, which means the rear flank downdraft is about to hit Lindale, and that would likely be 60 to 70 mile per hour winds that kind of rush through Lindale as this storm starts to lift off and cross over Highway 80 near the Horde area area and then move on toward Haynesville. So once again, this tornado warning is in effect until 4:45. I do not think Smith County will stay in that warning until 4:45. I think Smith County will be done with the warning by around 4:30, but it will continue for parts of Wood County and into parts of Upshur County until 4:45.
Storm spotters are saying they received a report of a tornado northeast of Talco. However, that was in Red River County.
Okay.
So another confirmation that these thunderstorms, not only do we have rotation on the radar, but they are producing.
But they are producing tornadoes. So that means that there's so many times in East Texas that we see tornado warnings and we know it's rotating on radar, but it doesn't actually touch the ground. And so I know a lot of people that don't have storm anxiety sometimes ignore these tornado warnings because a lot of times, more often than not, we don't see one touch the ground. That is not the case today. We have been seeing tornadoes touch the ground today. We do have confirmation. I have seen pictures of tornadoes on the ground with some of these thunderstorms. So please, please don't take these warnings lightly. If you are in the southern portions of Wood County, please, please make sure you are taking your tornado precautions. This rotation is not in Grand Saline. It's going to cross Highway 80. It is crossing Highway 80 right now near Mineola, just to the west of Hawkins. It's crossing over 80 now and is lifting up and will cross 154, closer to Quitman than Gilmer, but between Quitman and Gilmer is where it will cross over 154. Stay off the roads in this area because you do not want to be driving in this, whether there's a tornado on the ground or not. There's extremely heavy rainfall. I think it's trying to cycle right now because it looks like the rotation, we've got this bright area here in northern Smith County, but now it looks like the rotation's trying to kind of start forming a little bit. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm talking to Andrew over here, and I need to talk to you guys on the screen. So here's the bright area that we've been watching, but notice that we're now starting to see a little bit more red and green a little bit further off to the east. And so it's possible that this area of rotation is starting to weaken, but another area of rotation is starting to cycle up and strengthen. Now, this is why I say don't take these storm tracks exactly to the mile, because these storms can jog left and right as they continue to cycle through their development. And if that's what's happening, then we're going to see this entire tornado-warned storm kind of jog a little bit to the right, which is going to put it a little bit closer to the Hawkins area, and that means it's going to cross Highway 80 a little bit closer to Hawkins than what we see in the Mineola area. And that new area of rotation is what we will be tracking as it moves up toward, let's see, the central portions there of Wood County. If you were in Lindale, the warning is moved past you. I don't expect you to see any more rotation. Hopefully through the day today, that rotation has moved up to the north near the Highway 80 area. So if you were in Lindale, you can come out of your safe rooms. And this will continue to move away from the Lindale area. If you were in Van, if you were in Grand Saline, you were not in the path of this rotation. If you were in Hawkins, especially on the west side of Hawkins, you need to be watching this very, very closely. In fact, I would say be in your safe rooms, because even though the rotation doesn't look like it's going to move right over Hawkins, it is possible that it is cycling a little bit closer to Hawkins than what we see in Mineola, with some very, very strong winds where you see kind of almost those blue colors within the green. That's going to be some straight line winds of 60 to 70 mile per hour possible, along with the possibility of some large hail within that as well. There is a very, very strong updraft with this storm, so it's holding up some very large hail. I'm not sure if it's hitting the ground yet, but it is possible that it could hit the ground. This is cycling as well. We saw that kind of large hail core just off to the west, and now it's moving a little bit further off to the east. So it looks like if there is any large hail, it's moving out of the Lindale area, but it's getting closer and closer to Hawkins. You can see where that hail core was. It was just off to the west of Lindale, and then as it cycles, you can see it starts to move just off to the east. So that's what's happening with this storm, is it's starting to cycle, and the western portion of the storm is weakening, the eastern portion of the storm is strengthening, and now we're going to see a new area of rotation, and that's likely where we'll see our next tornado warning. That rotation already under a tornado warning, but when they reissue it for downstream, claim they're going to reissue it from this area instead of the area that was just south of Mineola. So the rotation will be crossing over Highway 80 between Mineola and Hawkins. It'll be moving up just off to the east of the Quitman area. Quitman, you were technically under this tornado warning at this time, but I think the circulation is going to cross 154 just off to your east. So